Leon felt very nervous when he saw Roswitha approaching him with vegetables that he didn't like to eat. He shook his head gently and refused her. No. No. However, Roswitha disregarded Leon's thoughts completely. Don't be polite. Come on, darling. Open your mouth. Before Leon could resist, Roswitha quickly put a piece of eggplant into Leon's mouth. Leon wanted to avoid the sudden attack of Roswitha, but it was too late. He could only be forced to swallow this eggplant. According to Leon's master, Leon would faint directly after eating eggplant. At this point, Leon had already shown obvious reactions. His face turned ashen, and he even felt severe discomfort. He reached out his hands to cover his throat, wanting to spit out the eggplant. However, it seems that the eggplant has already entered his stomach. Soon, Leon pounced on the dining table and fainted, losing consciousness. He lay on the desk motionless, as if he had fallen asleep. Seeing Leon suddenly faint on the dining table, Muin felt a little worried. She asked Roswitha with a puzzled tone, "Mom, why did Dad faint?" Roswitha calmly replied, "Oh, Dad may be too tired. Just let him rest." After all, she deliberately prepared dishes that Leon didn't like and made him faint. She learned about Leon's weakness from his master, so she used this weakness to retaliate against his negative evaluation of fire magic. Roswitha helped Leon up from the chair and took him out of the dining room. She turned her head and said to Muin, "Mom takes Dad to rest first. You finish your meal like a good kid." Muin asked Anna to walk over to her and asked her to help cut the steak. Upon hearing what Roswitha said, Muin happily raised her hand and waved it, then replied, I will finish my meal obediently. Mom needs to take good care of Dad." Anna politely bowed to Roswitha and Leon and watched them leave here. Muin naively thought that Roswitha was simply helping Leon to his room to rest. However, what she didn't know was that what was about to happen next was something only Leon and Roswitha could know. After leaving the dining room, Roswitha took Leon back to her room. Perhaps worried that he might catch a cold, Roswitha kindly covered Leon's body with a blanket and then went on to do other things. At this moment, Leon was still sleeping soundly on Roswitha's bed and seemed to have been asleep for a while. His breathing echoed in the silent room. Suddenly, Leon woke up. He opened his eyes gradually and looked around at the environment. Noticing that Leon had woken up, Roswitha asked him, "Are you awake?" Leon slowly sat up from the bed. He reached out his hand and gently rubbed his forehead, still feeling a bit dizzy. After slowly recovering his consciousness, he found himself in Roswitha's room now. However, he was not very surprised either. After all, such situations have occasionally occurred in the past. He was very dissatisfied with Roswitha retaliating against him with some dishes he didn't like just now. "You actually used eggplants on me. You're so despicable." Roswitha doesn't think there's anything wrong with her approach. There is nothing surprising about whatever the dragon and the dragon slayer use against each other. How can this be called despicable? Besides, I didn't say what I was going to do." Leon lifted his head and noticed that Roswitha was walking towards him. Roswitha seems to have changed into a new outfit. She slowly walked towards her bed. The sound of boots touching the ground was clear and loud, as if reminding Leon, "I just want to help you treat your illness." Roswitha dressed up as a special nurse and walked up to Leon. While Leon was still sleeping, Roswitha had secretly changed into this set of nurse uniforms. She was wearing a nurse's hat, a very close-fitting nurse uniform, and charming white suspender stockings. Her twin peaks were faintly visible under the nurse's uniform, swaying subtly with her movements. She was holding a syringe prop and a board for recording information, as if she were really Leon's exclusive nurse. Upon seeing the charming attire of Roswitha, Leon froze in place. His nosebleeds suddenly spewed out from his nose. He couldn't accept this intense visual stimulation for a moment. Leon turned his head and looked aside. He didn't want to continue looking at Roswitha's outfit. Even though she didn't explicitly tell him what to do next, he vaguely sensed her purpose. He was very puzzled by her words. He reached out a hand and pinched his nose to prevent more nosebleeds from flowing out, while saying to her, "Treat my illness? What illness do I have?" Recalling what happened between him and her in this room last time, Leon silently said in his heart, "After classroom play, does this she-dragon want to play nurse play?" Roswitha noticed Leon's nosebleed. She smiled at him and said kindly to him, "I see you have nosebleeds. Do you need me to help you wipe it?" Upon hearing Roswitha's words, Leon knew she must have other intentions. "Damn she-dragon, you really know how to play." Leon showed an unhappy expression. He lifted his hand and gently wiped away his nosebleeds, then said to Roswitha, "No, hurry up and change your uniform." He didn't want to see her continue standing in front of him wearing this outfit. However, Roswitha did not expect to change out of this uniform. She secretly smiled and prepared to start implementing her plan. Roswitha suddenly reached out her hand and placed it on Leon's shoulder. Then, before Leon could react, she quickly pressed him onto her bed. Leon was surprised by Roswitha's behavior. He slightly widened his eyes and looked at her, not knowing what had happened. Roswitha pressed her hand on Leon's shoulder to prevent him from having a chance to break free from his control. Then, she climbed onto the bed and sat on his body to prevent him from escaping when she wasn't paying attention. Leon wanted to try to break free from the shackles of Roswitha, but at this moment, he had no chance. She issued a warning to him. "Mr. Leon, please cooperate with the treatment." Roswitha picked up the board recording case information and casually flipped through a few pages, pretending to be checking Leon's past medical history. She looked at Leon and asked him seriously, "Mr. Leon, according to the medical record, you often experience symptoms of chest tightness, right?" Leon looked at his chest, then at Roswitha sitting on top of him. He was puzzled by her question. He looked at her with serious eyes and retorted, "You're already sitting on top of me. I'm sure I can feel chest tightness." He thought she was asking a question to which she already knew the answer. Upon hearing Leon's response, Roswitha was very dissatisfied with his attitude. She tapped Leon's head with a board and said solemnly to him, "Cooperate with treatment, Mr. Leon." Leon closed his eyes tightly and felt pain from his head. He couldn't help but let out a cry. "Ah!" Leon reached out a hand and gently caressed the area hit by Roswitha. He answered her perfunctorily. Yes, I feel chest tightness." Leon had to cooperate with Roswitha for role-playing and silently said in his heart, "I'll cooperate with your performance first. You will definitely be punished later."